Hello, and thank you all so much for joining us for episode 6 of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, hosted by Variant Roles. I'm Eugenio Vargas, also known as your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, DM Jazzy Hands from the actual play podcast, The Last Refuge. I use he, him pronouns, and I am excited to hop back into this tonight. Why don't we start by going around and introducing the rest of the players? Let's start with Alex tonight.
Okay, all right. Hi. Hi, I am Alex Gaston. I use she, her pronouns, as does my character Silme, our silver-skinned tiefling rogue. I am super stoked to be here tonight, and I am relaxed in my chair, ready to go.
So relaxed. Lean back. All right, Max, how about you? How you doing this week?
I'm better. I'm doing better.
Oh, good.
Power back. Yeah. So I'm Max. I use he, him pronouns. My character Theron is a ladrin with the blessing of Coralon. So a very amorphous character, at the moment using she or they pronouns.
All right. And let's see who's next in the overlay. That would be Steven. How are you tonight?
I'm fantastic. I play Rowan Tosscobble Porchpot. There's a hyphen between Tosscobble and Porchpot. He is a halfling bard warlock, although he prefers the word hin, and both of our pronouns are he, him.
Fantastic. Moving right, that's the hyphen will never not delight me. Moving over to Jonathan. What's up?
Hey everybody, I'm Jonathan, and you can find me with Red Hand Roleplay, actual play podcast, and I am Rocky, the big burly bouncer type, with he, him pronouns for myself and the character.
There it is, and last but most certainly not least, Allison. Hello, madam.
Hello, yes. You can also find me with Red Hand Roleplay as well, but on this I play Anivel Rothkama, the half-orc barbarian who likes things precisely where they go.
All right, and I think that's everybody for tonight. If you haven't yet noticed, we have added, we started adding this last week on the stream, but we have added the D&D Beyond widget overlay, whatever you call it, I don't know words, on Variant Roles, so you can check out our characters' character sheets and keep track of their hit points on the screen should they get into any trouble. I'm super excited about it, but I'm a nerd. All right. Last week, our friends here successfully opened their new business, The Fighting Spirit. They had a fabulous opening weekend, made some money, had some fun. But then, of course, it was time to get back down to serious business because we are serious people all the time, very serious. Anyway, they went out to complete a task set to them by the Zhentarim. They searched about for the perpetrator of some heinous sailor decapitations in the dock ward, and may have in fact found him when that damned world glitch nonsense started up and they lost track of the person. Even more strange, the Zhentarim soon got in touch with them, asking why they hadn't yet completed a completely different task than the one the players thought they'd been set. As if that wasn't strange enough, a day or so later, there was a huge explosion outside the Fighting Spirit. 11 people were killed, property was damaged, and many questions are at this point left unanswered. The team began their own preliminary investigation, but right now, 3 of them are about to be questioned by members of the City Watch, and the other 2 spotted a suspicious cloaked figure fleeing the scene of the explosion and are pursuing. So that's where we're going to start this evening. Why don't we start with those of you who are in the Fighting Spirit with Sergeant Crowley and the mage, whose name I don't think you've gotten yet. And they are there with the 3 of you. I believe in there are Silme and Annie and Theron at the moment. And in theory, they're waiting for you, the other 2 gentlemen to join you.
Was the mage Barnabas?
Oh, okay. So you did learn his name. Yes, his name is Barnabas. So they've just asked when you think the other 2 are going to return, and you probably gave some sort of vague answer. Are you doing anything else at the moment, or just sort of having an awkward standoff in the center of the tap room?
Annie's at the tavern organizing all of Rowan's pots that she picked up on the way back, and is like,
"Oh my God, that's right."
The size and not getting him all in like perfect order, even though he'll probably just like dump them in his bag when he gets back. But
That's right. I forgot about that. So along the way, as Rowan was in pursuit of the mysterious cloaked figure, he was just dropping pots and pans all along the way. And Annie, being the organizer that she is, picked them up as she went along, coming back, and is now organizing them. I love it. Sil, what are you up to?
Keeping an eye on our crap. How could I have forgotten his name?
Whose name?
Reggie?
Reggie.
Well, that's the name you gave him.
That's right. That's the name you gave him. He hasn't argued, but he's never actually said that was his name.
Yeah, you told me to give him a name, and I'm like, Reggie, and I forgot it because I'm an asshole. Cool. I'm keeping an eye on Reggie because he was hurt.
Right.
And did I get the necklace from T, or does she?
Oh, I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, that's right. It's in her bosom. Do I know it's in your bosom?
No.
Okay, so I don't even know about it.
I mean, you know it exists, but you don't know where it is. Yeah.
But I don't know where it is.
Sure. Okay, cool.
So, can I just move it? Where is Cromley?
I mean, right now they're just sort of both standing, not, a few feet inside the door.
Okay. I guess I'll just look at them and go, well, we might be waiting here a while. So how about you sit down? I could get you an ale.
So Sergeant Crowley sort of takes the offered seat, but tells you that, he's on duty, so he shouldn't be drinking. But Barnabas is like, absolutely.
All right. I go behind the bar and I pull, I go to pull and I go, T, where are the good mugs?
Why do you have bad mugs?
Do we have bad ones?
I think these are dirty. Can you just come help me real quick?
Sure. I'll be right there.
Okay. So they're seated and
Uh-huh.
so is T next to me.
Sure.
I know you've got the necklace. I want you to keep it secret. Don't talk about it at all, okay?
I plan to. Didn't even know you knew about it.
Well, I've got ways, dear.
Stage whisper, my love. Speak up a little bit.
Oh,
It's okay.
I didn't even know you knew I had
Not
it.
you. You were fine.
I know things.
There you go.
I know things.
Have you been checking me out? Have you noticed a little extra bump down there then?
It just, shh, we're not going to talk about it. Just stop, don't.
I found a mug.
Oh,
This one looks clean.
And I go back and I give her the mug.
Really, really good. Fantastic. All right. Theron, anything else that you need to do at the moment?
I kind of want to go to my room. Am I allowed to? Are we confined to this area?
No, I mean, they're not, they're not being aggressive. They don't, you have not necessarily been like officially named as suspects or anything. They're just there to sort of get a sense of what happened. So no, but if you do start to leave the room, Sergeant Crowley will sort of say, make it quick. We don't want to miss, if they come back and you're not here, well, then we're going to wait for you, blah, blah, blah. So
It's okay. The ghosts will tell me when they arrive.
Crowley and Barnabas both sort of look at each other like, what?
And off I go, dancing up the stairs.
All right.
Once in my room, I'm going to take the locket out. I'm going to tuck it into my secret shrine.
The locket?
The locket or the necklace, the whatever.
Oh, the necklace with the little beads on it. Yeah.
Beads. Okay. I thought there was okay.
Oh, no. Yeah. Little, like a golden necklace with a bunch of strands where like charms or beads should go. And a bunch of them are missing, but there are a few left on there.
And I guess I'll just pour myself an ale and I'll pull Annie one and I'll just sit down at the bar and keep an eye on him and slide it over to Annie as she's trying to sort out pots.
All right. Okay, so that's sort of the somewhat awkward scene. We're just waiting on the gentleman. Let's go hop over to the gentleman. Gentlemen, what are you doing?
Yes. Well, I think we're continuing to follow the tracks since it seems as though we've lost sight of the individual, and I don't think I ever actually got eyes on them.
I don't think you did either, through no fault of your own.
But I know exactly what shoes they're wearing. So
right, exactly. Exactly. All right, so you all have been sort of led on a merry little chase all about this area of the dock ward. Sorry, the North Ward, because that's where your banner is. The North Ward, up through some alleyways, up Thunderstaff Way. You sort of circled around for a while, headed back down Whalegond Way, through Tower March, down Horn Street. And you've ended up back on Serdune Street. And go ahead and make me a Wisdom Survival check, Rowan. And I think I gave you advantage because Cobbler.
Because I need it. Okay, so with advantage, I get a 6.
Okay, fantastic. So there are tracks in the street. In fact, there are lots of tracks in the street.
Lots of them.
Yeah. I mean, you do sort of, I will say, like, as I recall, at the end of last session, you had rolled quite well to follow him. So we'll sort of average out the two. And you get sort of a sense of like maybe a block or two that there's a good chance that this individual headed for. But in terms of being able to follow his trail any more specifically than that, I think you may have hit a dead end here, which is not to say that you can't search for him the old fashioned way, but in terms of following his tracks, this is probably where the trail runs cold.
Okay. Well, I will relay that information to Rocky. That I think they've got to be around here somewhere, but I can't really follow them any further. What do you think we should do?
Well, not entirely sure. Where do bad people typically go around here?
Well, we're in a noble district, so I think just inside.
I feel like Annie would really appreciate that comment.
Well, then Rocky probably just start like pointing to the nearest door and just kind of shrug.
Well, we can report this information to the proper authorities, or we can maybe poke around a little bit, to see if we can see anything that's suspicious. But what's most likely going to happen is everyone's going to think that we're suspicious because we're poking around and obviously don't belong here.
Whatever do you mean?
Well, I mean, it makes sense for us to try and report this in, but then again, we already here. But if we don't know where to go, I guess it makes sense to go back. Seems like a shame, though.
Yeah, it really does. Okay. Well, how about I do this, and I'll take out a piece of paper and then realize that I dropped that particular piece of paper, so then I'll go for a different one. And I'll do my best to try to sketch out the footprint as best I can, and just make some notes as to some information that could be useful or helpful, and make sure that we know where we are and can relay the details of it. Yeah,
definitely. Like I said, you can definitely at least to find where they went to ground in this area, you can pinpoint like a block or two area. You've got the sketch of the shoes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, then let's go ahead and head back, and we can hand this over, and we can see if there's anybody else who needs help, and maybe just do our best to try to take care of the bodies.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to take care of back home. I guess that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to find him. I did my best though.
Yeah, we'll get him next time. It's all right.
Yeah. We will.
Oh, do we get another high five to fade out?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Sure.
All right. I love it. Okay, so you all are heading back then towards the fighting spirit.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll fade out on the high five and head back to the fighting spirit. So at this point, Barnabas and Crowley have sort of chatted, and since Crowley isn't partaking of the libations here at the bar, he's sort of gone to stand just outside the doorway to keep an eye out for your other two compatriots should they head back this way, to let them know where you all are. Theron, did you come back down after you stashed the necklace?
Yeah, I didn't want it to look suspicious.
Yeah, okay, totally. So you're back down there, and Barnabas is there, and he's drinking and just sort of like mulling over a few things, and he occasionally, will mumble something to himself. But eventually, we see our two friends of diverse sizes heading back down, and Crowley spots you all, and he saw you all when you were in the square earlier, so he sort of waves to you and motions that he'd like to speak to you here in the Fighting Spirit.
Somebody stole my stuff.
Do you say that to him?
Well, no, I mean, obviously there are more important things happening right now, but at some point I'm going to need to report a crime.
Are you saying this to Crowley because I'm obsessed?
Probably saying it as I'm coming up to him.
Okay, amazing. He doesn't really know what to think, so he just sort of ushers you all inside, and we finally got you all in the same room. And so Sergeant Crowley sort of gruffly informs you all that you're not suspects or anything, but it did take place directly outside of your place of business. So best if we just ask y'all a few questions about what might have happened and if you know anything and things like that. I'm gonna leave it to Barnabas here to take care of it. Anybody have any problems with that?
No.
No.
So Barnabas comes over and he taps his staff as he walks up to each of you and sort of says, "Well, I think we should. I think we should start at the beginning. Why don't you tell me what you all saw?"
I'll try to recall as best I can. God, it feels as though it was a week ago. We came in.
You can all feel free to speak. It doesn't have to just be one.
Yeah, she's just the best one to talk.
Is she? How fascinating.
I don't remember what happened at all.
Well, I think that we were all just very, very surprised, and it was very, very chaotic. There was an explosion. One of our employees was on his way inside, and it looked like they got hurt. And then we all just rushed out to try to help people as best we could, but it seemed like everyone was dead or injured. Some of them had weapons, and there was just a lot happening. So I don't think any of us saw exactly what went down before it occurred. We kind of just got roped into the aftermath.
So he sort of nods and says, "Is there anyone that you can think of that perhaps might have it out for you or this fine establishment?"
I saw Fala's place on fire. Are they okay?
He says, he sort of looks to Crowley like, "I don't know who that is." And Crowley just nods and says, "Yeah, she's, they're probably fine. I think the only casualties were the 11 in the courtyard. So if your friend was outside of that, they're probably just fine."
Well, inside the time, so I can't. How do we even know we were the targets?
Barnabas sort of takes back over and says, "No, it's an excellent point. It just it stands to reason. You see, follow the logic. It was certainly closest to your place of business. There were a few other indications that perhaps it was targeting either someone here or someone very near here. By your own account, your employee was injured by the blast."
Well, I would say that my general impression of the scene when I was rushing out there, and again, I haven't really had time to look over the bodies or inspect anything or do any like real detective work, but it seemed as though there was some sort of conflict or some sort of potential conflict occurring out there. And just given the recent violent state of our city, I would imagine that it could have been just individuals bringing violence between each other and it literally blowing up.
Barnabas sort of takes out a little notebook and like makes a few notes there and sort of nods thoughtfully, and he says,
"That's pure conjecture, though."
No, of course. Let's see. I have a few more specific questions for you. Did any of you happen to know the unfortunate gnome who was killed in the blast?
Did we happen to know the unfortunate gnome who was killed in the blast?
I think the only one who probably noticed him was Rowan, and Rowan did not recognize him. So
I saw them out there, and I ran over to try to help them, but they were already dead by the time I got there. I'd never seen them before.
Interesting. Were there any of the victims, the casualties, that any of you knew?
I didn't get a good look at the bodies because I was too busy chasing off to some guy who we thought might have set the blast off.
Yes, that is we were just about to mention that, but wanted to try to handle this in order, of course. We did pursue someone who was fleeing the scene.
And Crowley sort of interjects here and is like, well, why didn't you say that in the first place? And Barnabas sort of, calms him down. He says, now, Crowley. All right, well, tell us about this individual, please.
Well, I believe my little brother Rocky actually got a glimpse at them, so might be able to give you a description. But I was able to follow their tracks.
At little brother, he goes...
Rowan will kind of whisper and be like, he's adopted. and pull out the sheet of paper that kind of shows the shoe print and be like, and we were able to pursue them to the northward, and I believe it was the Sardoon block, somewhere in that general vicinity, but then we lost them.
Excellent. Any sort of physical description?
Rowan will look to Rocky.
Okay.
Take your time.
So out of character, I actually do not remember. I remember that happening, but I don't remember.
You did. It was definitely a humanoid. Definitely, sort of standard human height and build, but they had a black cloak on with a hood up, so you did never really get a good glimpse of any features.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, it's he stood somewhere between Rowan and I.
Oh, good. That narrows it down.
And he was really fast, but that's about all I can tell you.
Fair enough. Though really, you shouldn't have a chase after criminals on your own. I know that you all claim to be members of the Greyhounds, but that is the providence of the City Watch and officially deputized members of I've blanked out on the name, the Watchful Order. There it is, yes.
Wait, we do stuff that the deputies do? Are we deputies then?
No, sir, you're not. That's the problem, isn't it?
Well, again, it was just a very chaotic situation, and we weren't thinking super clearly. And
of course,
we were hoping to catch them before they got away, and there wasn't anybody on site to take care of it, and it just seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
Of course. Well, I think that at least at the moment in these preliminary stages of our investigation, I think that's probably all we need from you, unless there's anything else that you all can think of that might pertain to the situation or might be important.
Anybody?
And sort of looks to each of you, and I think Syl might need to make a charisma deception check. And Theron as well, since they thought to go hide the thing. Syl?
15.
All right. Theron?
That's a dirty 20.
Okay, yes. He says, well, very good then. I believe you can get in touch with either of us by heading over to the nearest watch station, and if we can think of anything else that we need from you, we'll be sure to return here to this lovely establishment. Jim.
Smithy.
It is lovely. Thank you.
Come
Really
back for
good.
the potato juice.
It's delicious.
Really good.
Totally legal.
And as they're leaving, Barnabas turns around one more time and says, truly, I appreciate your enthusiasm and willingness to help the city, but I must encourage you all to trust in the Watch and allow us to do our jobs. Grey hands or not, I don't believe the black staff need get involved. We can handle it from here.
Right.
100% support you and your organization and have no desire to step on your toes or get in your way.
But for the record, we weren't doing it for the black staff. We're doing it to try and help the people here who got hurt.
Yes.
Exactly.
And again, we appreciate your words are difficult for me right now because the God who controls my voice is rather tired. Yes, we appreciate your efforts, but trust in the watch. We've got it from here.
Of course you do, darling.
And they leave.
Will do.
As they're going, I'm going to use my mage hand and just flick their ear.
With Barnabas or Crowley?
Which one of them looks the most believing when I mentioned that we had a ghost?
Oh, good call. Probably. Oh gosh. I mean, the thing is, like, ghosts are a thing, and like most people probably are aware that like that's, you know, a thing that could really happen. So I think they both believed you. I think Crowley probably looked a little more like maybe freaked out by it.
Who had the bigger stick up their butt?
Crowley.
Probably Crowley.
So Crowley's going to get a little gentle caress on the ear.
Oh, let's see what he does. We're gonna make wisdom saving throw. He's gonna do really bad and yelp rather undignified. Okay, so as you're walking out, he sort of like he leaps higher than a man of his age should be able to leap into the air and lets out a little. But Barnabas absolutely knows what just happened. Rather powerful spellcaster, but he just sort of turns around and you just catch the barest little smile and chuckle as the two of them. You know.
Do I know that was Theron?
Oh, probably.
Can I just lean over to her and kind of give her like a little knuckle? Like a fist pump?
Absolutely. I love it. All right. So, what are we doing?
Oh my gosh, Rowan, all of these pots that you have, I have them organized. And how do you fit all of these pots in your bag in the first place? I don't really understand how all of these could have fallen out while we were running and chasing that guy.
Well, first off, thank you for solving that crime. I totally forgot to report it. Secondly, I don't really fit them in so much as strap them on. But you got them all out of order.
Oh
no! No, this is. Well, what are you doing? Like some sort of size-based system? That doesn't make any sense at all.
Does it make sense that you strapped them and somehow they still fell off you?
No, you need to organize by use. Otherwise, what's the point?
Oh my gosh, no.
Okay, well. Could you please just take them off the bar and maybe set them somewhere where I can reach them? And I very much appreciate you doing your best to help me out here.
Fine. I take I still have them in order to size though, because I'm gonna take them off in order to size.
Yeah,
really good.
Rowan basically just goes through and just almost randomly just kind of shoves them in bags and snaps them on, and it's just a total mess. Like it looks completely different from how it looked when he left the building.
She's really trying hard not to like break a chair or something.
Really good. Please go on.
Popcorn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, okay. What does everyone think we should do now?
Organize the pots by size.
Yeah.
I think we should have a family meeting, powwow upstairs. Theron.
Okay.
Guess what?
I think we have to have a talk about stuff.
I think Annie and I have to have a talk with all of you about stuff too. There was some stuff we didn't mention yesterday with thrilling talk of demons.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Your room, since it's the biggest.
Okay.
All
Wait, were we supposed to bring stuff?
right. No, big man.
You bring the fondue, I'll bring the nail polish.
Not right now, love. Rocky, you can bring ale. How's that sound?
Great. I'll get the potato juice.
Yeah.
He goes over.
Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Give me 1 minute. Don't come in. I need to tidy a few things up. Okay. And I rush up the stairs, go through to the secret shrine behind the Ilmater's shrine, and pull out the necklace and shove it back in.
Oh Lord! All right. As you shove it back in and sort of come out, because the shrine is like in the closet up there, right? Or in the
like in an armoire.
Yeah. So as you turn around, something like a little strip of fabric catches your eye because you're sure that it wasn't there earlier, and you find this like rectangular strip of muslin, sort of hanging there, and you don't know where it came from. You've never seen it before.
But I do.
Well, yes, but Theron doesn't.
Interesting. I'll tie it into my hair.
Great. So the rest of you come into the room, and Theron, what do they see in your hair? Or what do they see in general, I suppose? Doesn't necessarily just have to be in your hair.
I just took the muslin and tied it like a little bow ribbon.
Okay, but then what were you thinking about? And what were you thinking about in terms of sartorial decisions? Did you have anything in mind, maybe a bit fancier, that strip of muslin might want to be?
I don't know.
Discord.
Right. No, you're good. Carry on. All right, so there's a strip of muslin in his hair. You're good.
Yeah. I didn't have Discord up.
Nope, you're good.
No, I was like, do you guys?
Nope. Right on.
Moving on.
Before we're actually upstairs, I think Reggie and somebody else was downstairs still. I think Annie would have turned to them and be like, probably going to be closed for today if you guys want to take off and relax.
Yeah. So. The dwarf definitely would like to go home and like lie on his stomach and sleep all day.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
have any of you been in my room?
I'm sorry?
I don't think I have.
Does this fabric look familiar to any of you? Have any of you been going through my things?
Have I been in his room? Her room? Their room?
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever invited anyone in before. Unless you're sneaking in to put those chess pieces in my room.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I had been in their room because I hid a chess piece.
Is it a visible chess piece right now? Where did the chess piece come from? No, first, who has been in my room? I don't recognize this fabric, and it was around my shrine. This is my personal space. I don't want it touched. I don't want it messed with. It's very important to me. Nobody try on my mask. Indicating like Dr. Mask.
I promise.
Rowan looks super disappointed when you say that he can't try on the mask.
Aww.
It smells really good, but it's mine. These are my things.
So what did we come up here to discuss?
Yeah, that's a great question. It seems as though Silme, you had something you wanted to say?
So I may not have been 100% honest.
Okay.
Which time?
That doesn't surprise any of us, so just keep going.
Not at all.
No. Rocky
That's
looks
fair.
over incredulously and goes, still.
That's fair. I deserve that. So when everything was going to shit, so when everything was blowing up, there was a little kid and he was going into a barrel and I went after the kid, and then Theron went up onto the roof and we found a necklace, and I didn't tell Crowley or Barnabas about it. I don't know why. I feel like it's something that perhaps we need to figure out first before the watch. I don't know. So I wanted to talk about that. T, do you have it on you?
I do now, yes.
I know you're a little baffled.
There it is.
Yeah, boobs, they're crazy. And then, can I see it?
I'll hand it off.
Okay.
It's mine.
Have I ever seen something like this before?
I was muted. You can, goodness, probably not, honestly. You could make an intelligence arcana check, I suppose.
I was going to say, I have Arcana. Could I make one?
Yeah, that seems more likely that you perhaps would have seen something like this before.
Yeah, because I rolled.
I get a 15.
Yeah, I think so. I think first of all, you recognize this as not just a pretty necklace, but definitely something magical. And it sort of tickles something in your memory, and you think maybe those little beads might set off fireballs if you're not careful.
Okay, everyone, be really, really calm. That is incredibly dangerous. That is like a magical explosive necklace that you throw those things and they blow up. So that is definitely pertinent to this situation because that's basically what did this.
Can I have it back?
How many are left on there?
I think there's 3 left. I'll double check, but I think there's 3.
I'm not exactly sure how to use it, or like sometimes these things you just say the wrong word and it blows up. So be very, very careful.
Might want to keep it far away from me, then.
I'm the only other person other than you, Rowan, who is trained in the magics.
I'm sorry, 2 beads are left on there.
T, I don't think this is something we want to use right now. I think this is something we have to decide whether we're going to either turn over the watch that we found around our building or whether we're going to go to the Blackstaff and show it to them. And
more importantly, what words are we not supposed to say?
Yeah, I don't know. You never know with these things.
Fluffernutter.
No, stop guessing words. Speak very normal words.
Quidgibel.
Rocky's arms are like shooting in front of like Rowan and whoever's next to him whenever somebody's saying one of these.
I'm sure it's fine.
To be fair, I fished it out of a barrel of water using magic hand, pulled it from the barrel up to myself, and was walking around in it in my shirt, and it hasn't exploded. So I think we're good. Do we know what to do with this bloody dagger? It would seem we found the weapon.
Yeah, I'd say that there's probably nothing that we can do with it other than, have a incriminating piece of evidence on our person. So maybe you can at least inform the Blackstaff about the situation, and they might have some further information, better information. But this is probably going to need to go to the watch at some point. But we just found it, obviously, after the fact, because we were cleaning up.
Of course.
Very right. Roadkill, darling, where are you?
Oh, all right.
I think it takes a moment for Roadkill to respond, and Roadkill now that Roadkill's a little bit used to being able to actually communicate with you, has gotten a little surly and sassy about things. So Roadkill sort of comes strolling out like from his little home near the bedside table, and he just comes sauntering out and sits up on the bedside table and just sort of looks at you like, yeah.
Oh.
I rescued you from a puddle. You should not be giving me such sass.
And he just turns around and shows the ribbon on his tail and then looks at you and says, yes.
Is it really about the ribbon? Now that you talked, you just... Fine, I'll get you one to match. I'll get you one to match your sweater. Okay, we need you to go back to the nice lady in the Black Tower and let her know we found a weapon that had been used in an explosion today.
Okay, so Roadkill says, well, all right, but I want my new ribbon first.
I have some of my code if
How fast is Roadkill? Is this going to take a really long time? Because I think it took like a couple of days last time to get the message there, didn't it?
Well, to be fair, it took a little while for him to get there and back and for her to deal with it, but yes.
It's going to take a while, you said?
I mean, I don't mean to try to tell you your business, and if you think that this is the best way to contact her, then go right ahead. But it might just be quicker to walk over there.
That's fair.
I'm just trying not to look suspicious.
Oh, sure, but
something wrong.
Oh, totally. But I don't think they're going to be surprised if people who work for the Blackstaff report this giant, crazy situation to the Blackstaff. I mean, they kind of said as much, didn't they?
I can go. I'll be then back before we even know it.
She wasn't back before they knew it.
I still give Roadkill the new ribbon.
Okay. Roadkill's super into the new ribbon and like totally changes attitude.
What color is it?
Yeah, what color is it?
I'm thinking sky blue to match. You
All
wanna
right.
match.
Yep, all about it.
Hey, there's got to be something really good that Roadkill can do right now. I mean, I don't want to take away from a sense of responsibility.
I mean, Roadkill can come with me if you want.
Yeah, there you go.
Roadkill only understands Theron, to be very clear.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I like to believe that Roadkill can understand me.
Oh, 100%. I assumed that you all were talking at Roadkill, but
Oh,
Roadkill
yeah.
didn't understand any of it.
We're all personifying Roadkill like crazy.
I'll look at T and go, does Roadkill want to come with me?
Do you want to go with Auntie Sil?
Yeah, she smells good. All right. Yeah. Mhm.
I can't wait till I can awaken Roadkill.
Is that a thing?
I'm not sure she'll be that, but he'll be. Is it? What? You know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it won't matter.
Great. So, Sil, you're headed off to Blackstaff Tower to try and have a chat with Vajra. What are the rest of you doing? Anything, or just waiting on her to head and return?
I think I'm going to start cleaning up.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
You can't clean up the same way that I clean up, obviously, because of the pots and pans.
Okay.
Don't do that at all.
Yeah.
like
Rowan
Monica.
in task completion is very like starts doing something and then gets distracted by another thing and goes off and does that instead, and then comes back and gets like 25% more of the first thing done, and it probably just drives Annie like up a wall.
She's probably just following Rowan like behind.
I want to go see Fala.
Okay, absolutely. You can go see them. Anybody else need to do anything outside of the fighting spirit?
I mean, I
did-
figure I'll just be cleaning up the debris and everything outside where
Yeah.
my muscles are most useful.
Totally.
Did Theron and Annie have something else that they wanted to throw at us? Before we-
Oh, Rowan.
Legitimately, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, I don't
I'm as
know.
curious as you all.
Can I retcon and find out what's going on?
What?
No,
don't know
you're
what's
gone.
happening. You
I'm gonna wait till
gone,
after
girl.
we
You
go.
gone.
I got
So we were kind of I guess the story you told the other night, Rowan, was quite long, and we all parted ways. Annie and I were approached, specifically Annie, for some reason, by some of the was it the Zhentarim?
Oh, right. Now I know what this is about. Yes, it was the Zhentarim.
And I think we're supposed to do some sort of dead drop. Annie, was that it?
Yeah. This is something about we missed the drop. We're supposed to get the package. What are we doing there? We were like, we're saving lives, and they was like, that's what you're all supposed to be doing. Yeah, and we're supposed to go to a place that I wrote down, and I can't read my writing.
I'm curious what you think it is. I'll tell you what it actually is, but
Yeah.
because it's a funny name, so I'm curious what you think you wrote down.
Yeah. Nope. Did I even write it down?
That's right.
correctly?
You're supposed
go
to
ahead.
go to Weird Bottles Concoctions, a potion shop run by a gnome named Schemo in the trades ward.
There it is. I actually did write that down correctly. Haha. So couldn't read it.
Well, that's really
Yeah, it was
weird.
Yep, we're gonna go. I mean, I figure why not? And
Maybe Dead
tomorrow,
Drop is code for killing a decapitator or something. I don't know. Okay, well, Weird Bottles Concoction sounds really super neat. Is it okay if I tag along?
sure. I mean, especially if it's magical, I won't know what it is. So
Should we discuss why we've been selected? We didn't talk to Davil about any sort of business with them. Maybe this is related to all this weird stuff going on, like when your illusion spell started acting strange, and you said people disappeared, poof,
Yeah.
down an alley, and
Yeah.
things are going on here. And I found this in my shrine. I take down the muslin. It was there.
Yeah, at this point, the muslin, like you go to pull the muslin off and you feel it, and it feels like a very fancy, like scarf that is not made of muslin, but like is like silk and very intricately patterned. But as soon as you pull it off, it reverts to that sort of strip of muslin.
See, what's this? What is going on?
That's so cool.
This is not something I ever bought, and it was in my personal space, and I know Syl would come in and leave something nice here.
Hey.
I keep finding these chess pieces, but I don't know where they're coming.
What? Give me those. Give me. Give me.
Don't hit me! Don't hit me!
It was only a matter of time.
Syl.
Kill me.
My life is complete.
Well, what are we going to do about this?
We have a job. I don't know if they're going to come and kill us if we don't do it.
Well, the job's not until tomorrow. We could talk to the devil and make sure he meant us. Or we could just do it anyways. Yeah? Yeah.
They didn't really strike me
that
as
was yesterday.
the murdery type. Mm. Yeah, that's fair. Well, we've got a good excuse if they were expecting, us to complete it in a timely manner. I mean, there was a giant explosion right outside our door, and we were being held up with questioning by the watch, and the things on our plate that we had to deal with.
Well, I mean, the night they came to us, they said in 2 days. This is day 1. Tomorrow's the next day. Tomorrow's the day we got to do it, and we have to also deliver it to the God Catcher statue to someone in a purple cloak.
So you can pick it up anytime. You just have to drop it the following night at the God Catcher.
We could pick it up today. I just remembered an ominous voice.
And this time we're going to leave a note so Syl can find us.
Good thinking, T.
Well, we could just wait for her to get back. I mean, if this is going to be like hey, let's all go, which is I think a good idea. She probably won't be gone too long. She's just got to go talk to the Blackstaff real quick and then pop back.
Yeah,
there really are so many great opportunities for like but she was gone a long time sort of narrator. It's just so easy. All right. So that is, however, a good place to hop over to Syl and to see how long exactly it does take. So Syl, you head to Blackstaff Tower with Roadkill in tow on your shoulder, presumably.
In my bosom.
Or in your bosom. And you get there. And sort of the deal. You pass through the fence outside that sort of opens up for you, and then the door appears into Blackstaff Tower, and you get into that octagonal entry chamber. And there's no one there, which is the same as it was last time. But after a few moments, one of those apparitions, I'm pretty sure you saw a couple of them last time you were here, those like greenish, almost spectral-ish apparitions. Yeah. One of them, an older human man, appears and walks up to you and says, "Hello, child. Vajra is busy today. Is it pressing?"
I believe it is. I'm not sure if you're aware of the attacks the attack that happened outside the Fighting Spirits. I found something, and I could really use her counsel if she can spare just a moment for me.
He says, "Well, show it to me. What did you find?"
I really would prefer to show it to her.
He ruffles himself a little bit and says, "Child, if you can show it to one Blackstaff, you can show it to another."
All right.
The face is what? Not yours. The rest of the team is like, what?
I don't know you, but I have to trust you. I believe I found what may have caused the explosion, and I want guidance on what to do with it. I pull out.
So he'll take a look, and his eyes will get a little bit bigger, and he'll say, "Well, that's a necklace of fireballs, so it is indeed likely that did, in fact, cause this explosion that you speak of." He says, "You can leave it here. We can see if we can get anything off of it magically, or you could do your duty as a citizen of Waterdeep and turn it into the City Watch. I'm sure they would prefer to take care of this if this is... though magic was used, it does still sound like the purview of the Watch."
I guess my question would be, what is going to garner better results, you or the watch?
He sort of chuckles and says, well, obviously us. The trick, though, is that none of you were hurt, I assume, or you would have opened with that.
No, thankfully, we're all safe. Our bartender got a little scathed, but he seemed to be doing all right. But there were some deaths out in the streets, unfortunately.
That is unfortunate, but as no agents of the Grey Hands seem to be in imminent danger, it might be a while before we have the time to look into this.
Is nobody suspicious of the fact that the fireball landed at our door?
He says, perhaps, but you all seem a hardy sort that could withstand a fireball or two while you wait for answers from here, or you can take it to the watch and they'll take it from there. I have every faith. Sorry, I tried. But it is technically their purview.
Fine. I may have come under some heat for this.
But
I wanted to. This is new to me. I'm not used to reporting to somebody. And if anything, I just wanted to make sure that you helped. Because whether we're haughty, those that live around us do not deserve recompense.
He says, he softens a little and he says, child, I understand. I spent much of my life trying to help those in need too. But understand that there is much that goes on in this city each day, and it cannot possibly be the responsibility of this Black Staff to save every individual or stop every individual attack or unfortunate occurrence. There are matters beyond your pay grade that Vajra is unfortunately very busy with at the moment. Not to say that, of course, lives being lost wasn't important, but you must understand that there are many responsibilities that weigh upon the Black Staff. You're welcome to leave it with me, and we'll get to it as soon as we can, or you're welcome to take it to the City Watch, whose job it is indeed to handle these things, and who, in theory anyway, should be staffed enough to handle this in a more timely fashion.
Fine.
If somewhat less competently, he can't help but slide in.
Of course. Trust me, I don't particularly like. I'll adjust my collar so you see a little bit of the scar. Don't particularly like the watch either.
You see, I mean, the eyes are green because he is green, but you just sort of see him flash in anger for a brief moment when he sees that, and then he sort of composes himself.
Whatever you think is going to make the quickest results, the last thing I want is, 1, for this to end up in the wrong hands, and 2, for this to happen again.
He says, if it's quick that you're looking for, I have to encourage the watch. He says, though they might not be everything that we would hope at all times, I do trust them to handle the matter discreetly and to keep a hold of that object and keep it safe.
All right. Well, don't say I didn't try.
And you hear Vajra's voice sort of echo through the chamber, and she just calls, Samark. And the gentleman in front of you sort of nods and says, if that's all.
Yes, Samark. Thank you.
He nods and disappears.
All right. I will do I know where...
Yeah, so there's one fairly close to Blackstaff Tower, but also you also know where the one near Trollskull Manor is, and that's probably the one that like Crowley and Barnabas would be at, so it's up to you which one you want to take it to.
Since it's on the way back, I'll just go to the one that's by Trollskull.
Trollskull, okay, great. All right, so you all were going to wait for Syl, or you were going to head off and leave a note for her?
Well, I'm okay with waiting. But if everyone else, it's not my thing. If everyone else wants to go, it's cool.
I'm fine with waiting, except that it's kind of a time-sensitive thing is the only issue.
If we wait too long, Theron's going to start table dancing.
Oh, I'd pay for that.
Well, how about you all go on ahead, and I'll just wait back here for Syl, and then we'll catch up.
Hey, we're splitting up again. Okay.
All right. So the three of you then are going to head over to try and find Schemo's shop in the trades ward. take a quick look at the coolest thing ever, this little map here, and see where Schemos is. Great. All right. So, yeah. So it'll take you all a little while to get down there, but you can make it down eventually with no problem. I do think that before you arrive there, great. Before you arrive there, Syl will get a chance to give the necklace to the watch. Is there anything in particular that you want to say to Barnabas or Crowley while you're there?
Just that while we were cleaning, we found this and decided that it was our civic duty to make sure we turned it into the watch.
And they nod appreciatively and ask you a few questions about, where you found it and that sort of thing.
I'll tell them that I found it in a barrel, but I will leave Martim out of it.
Okay, great. And also that you had already found it when they came asking questions earlier, presumably.
What? No, I was going to say that I found it while cleaning.
That you've... Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely.
That while we were cleaning up and we were doing everything, that we found it in the barrel outside.
All right.
So that we don't look like we hid stuff from them.
Right. All right. So they appreciate it, and they, they sort of say, we'll come by if we have any additional questions. So Blackstaff Tower is farther from Trollskull Manor than I realized. So I think at this point we'll go over to Schemos. You all have made your way down. Remember, it's winter out, so it's cold, and there are not a ton of people out, so it's not like you have to move through a bunch of tourists. And you get down to the trades ward, and you sort of ask around, and everyone in that area sort of knows where Weird Bottles Concoctions is. And so you're standing outside this what is very clearly a potion shop with a little sign out front that says Weird Bottles Concoctions.
That's such a cool name.
So I'll kind of look to the other two and just say, so we've got to pick something up here and then drop it off by tomorrow.
He sort of thinks for a minute, and he says, all right, what is it that you're looking for?
Sorry, I meant to Theron and Annie.
Oh, got it. I was like, that's quite an introduction, but sure, whatever.
One way.
Maybe we should have waited for the smart people to come with us.
Excuse me, I don't know what that means. We're gonna be fine.
I don't count myself as one of the smart people.
But I do, even if the stats say otherwise.
Okay. Is our thief here, and is our crime boss here? No, we're the ones who we got the muscle and the bandage.
Well, I'm the one that was supposed to pick up the drop, apparently, so I'm sure it's gonna be fine.
Why you?
I don't know.
What are we even supposed to get here? Maybe it's a poison.
Concoction.
I'm
just gonna go in and ask for
right outside of the place.
Maybe it's gonna bring the god catcher to life, and it's gonna stomp through the city.
Well, you have an active imagination there, Baron. But let's just go in, and Annie goes right on in.
So, okay, I try to stop her really quick. So here's the thing: if we know we're supposed to pick something up, but it's not us who's supposed to pick it up, what if somebody else comes to try and pick it up while we watch for them to come pick it up? And then we know who was supposed to come pick it up, but it wasn't us. And now we know them. Do you understand?
But they don't know that we know that they know that we know.
Stop it. Stop.
No, but seriously.
Yeah, I did follow that, Rocky, because I'm smart. So.
Love you, Annie.
All right, come on now. We either go get this, or we waste the day trying to figure out if someone even is going to pick it up. Whoever was supposed to pick it up anyways missed the drop. So I say we go in, and I'm going in.
All right. And in you go. And inside is sort of all of these various smells and colored smokes and vials and bottles and potions all over the place. And a dark-skinned, somewhat weathered, somewhat, I don't know how else to describe him other than pointy gnome stands behind the counter and looks up and nods at you all.
I was going to say real quick that I'll stay right outside the doorway to
Okay.
keep an eye on the outside, and
Okay, great.
but I'll keep my ear to see if something comes up and I can run in.
Okay.
I approach and I say, "Hello." Big like toothy in there.
Uh-huh. Not at all intimidating. Cool.
Nope. Nope. I kind of just like lean on the counter a little bit and I say, and look around and I'm like, we're supposed to pick up concoction. We're from Devil, whatever his name is.
He was about to say something snarky about coming to pick up a concoction from Weird Bottles Concoction, but at the mention of Devil's name,
Devil.
he bites his tongue and he says, "Oh, well, all right." And he walks back to the back of the shop and comes out with a little sort of metallic coffer, about, have to carry it with both hands. It's sort of long and thin. And he opens it up and you can see that it's silk lined on the inside and there are 4 potion vials on the inside, all identical. And then he closes the lid and says, well, that should do you.
Yes, it should indeed. Thank you, kind person, shop owner. Take the thing.
Great.
Sound like a cop.
Yeah.
Make me a wisdom perception check, please. Theron, did you go in with
Yes.
her?
Yeah, it is.
Great, you can make me a perception check as well. What'd you get, Annie?
17.
Okay, and Theron?
16.
So you both hear Schemo sort of mutter under his breath as you all head out. It's just really, the recruitment is getting out of hand these days.
Rude.
I lean into Annie and I go, he didn't even ask for any proof that we were.
Shut up.
You
I'm
are-
gonna ignore that slight or else I would smash this counter. Let's go.
That was a stage whisper. That was a stage whisper.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but Annie's still like, shut up.
You were so good in there. You really are smart. I'm sorry about the jab. I was.
Ah!
We're not the criminally minded folk.
Yeah,
Right.
as soon as we get outside, yeah, I did it.
It's like Scanlan when he brought drugs.
Yeah, what did we do? What
Oh,
actually
Lord.
did we do? What's in there? Can we open
I
it?
don't
Should
know.
we open it?
You know what? Actually, it's silk lined and there's 4 potions. Let's just go back to the fighting spirits and take a look at it there in the safety of our place, because we don't have to drop this off till tomorrow. So that's my vote.
Seems smart to me.
All right, let's go.
All right. So you all probably will get back to the Fighting Spirit at about the same time. Syl took some time to chat with Crowley and Barnabas, and so you'll all sort of reconvene there at the Silk Scabbard at about the same time. Not the Silk Scabbard. Damn it, that is from a very different show.
Inception.
Fighting Spirit.
Fighting Spirit.
My brain, Fighting Spirit. I was reading the silk-lined coffered, and then it doesn't matter. Watch The World Tree Burns on Tuesday nights. So y'all are back at the Fighting Spirit, and you can sort of update each other and let me know what we're doing next.
What time is it?
Oh, I mean, the fireball went off fairly early in the morning, so I would say it's probably a little after high sun.
Nah. Time.
As soon as I go in, I'm like, I got the coffer.
That's amazing.
It was me.
What's going
Good
on?
job. Good job.
Wait. What did you get?
Probably something a little bit illegal.
Oh, wait,
No. It was from the
Honey.
establishment. It's fine. Let's take a look.
Ani, what did you do? What is going on? What do you mean you went and got something that might
Okay.
be illegal?
Okay.
We don't know if it's illegal.
So you know how things have been getting really weird lately? Apparently we got some different chore from the Zhentarim to kind of, make a good relationship with them. It's not like catching the dude who's decapitating people. And now it's like, whatever it is, it's in that box and we're supposed to drop it off somewhere. But it's probably something illegal, like drugs or something.
Well, why don't you take a look, Rowan, and I open it up.
Why would you open it? You'd never.
Because it's just potions, still. The potion guy showed it. I picked it up at a concoction place. The potion guy showed it to me. It's just potion.
Did you even check to see if it was sealed? Or if there was a rune? Annie, we need to talk about your criminal activity.
Still, don't question her intelligence. She doesn't like that.
I'm not
don't do
questioning
it.
her intelligence. I'm
Also,
questioning
still, chess pieces stay on the chessboard.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't seen that before in my life.
Uh-oh.
Do I believe her?
I'm gonna need a deception check and a charisma deception and wisdom insight, please. Let's go with the deception first.
16.
And the insight.
30-20.
She has indeed seen that before.
Oh, shit.
I know when you're lying, Sil, but let's look at these potions. That's on hold for now because I want to know what these are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I look
So
at
they
Rowan
look like
just like looking at him.
Yeah, they sure do.
I'm just
Well, you
watching.
did
Probably
mention runes
magic.
or something.
Or poison.
Yeah.
They could be poison of some sort.
Right. You did mention runes and everything. Sil, Rowan, Theron, do you guys want to look
Did I
at it first?
Did I see like any seal that perhaps is like? Did they nothing? They just.
Nope.
It doesn't matter because she just already has opened it anyway.
I mean, yes, but
Yeah.
it didn't blow up.
Well, I'll look at them and see if I have any idea what they are. I probably do.
Probably not, but go ahead and make me a Wisdom Arcana check. See if you can
Okay.
identify it by sight. Definitely a tougher prospect, but
Well, a wisdom arcana.
I'm sorry, Intelligence Arcana.
In a 21.
Oh, these you can't be totally sure without trying them out or using a bit of magic to get more information, but they sure do look like potions of mind reading.
Oh. Okay. So yeah, those are probably a little bit questionable, like a moral gray area, certainly, because it violates the sanctity of thought that you can look into somebody's brain and kind of like figure out what's going on in there. Catch them if they're lying, or maybe figure out some blackmail information, that sort of thing. They all look like the same thing.
So I'm still a little confused as to what's going on. So you said you got. So we were originally sent on the hunt for the man who's beheading people in the Darkwood. Now
Yeah.
you're saying you received a different job to go and get this and do what with it?
Go drop it off at the gold catcher statue to someone in a purple cloak. Pretty simple.
Okay, when do you have to do this?
Tomorrow at some time. I did not write that down.
I do not think we should wait this long with this in it. It's like midday. I think we should get rid of this now.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. We probably don't want to be caught with this sort of thing. And speaking of that, did what happened to the thing?
Where's my necklace? I bought that.
You did not buy that. Don't even start with me. You and I are gonna have a very serious talk later. The City Watch has it.
Okay, well that's good.
Did you tell them? Remember, snitches get stitches.
I told them that we found it while we were cleaning everything, and they didn't suspect a thing. Calm down, you're so paranoid.
Also, that's not really true. Usually they get away with it. That's just something that people say to prevent people from snitching.
But it does worry me that you said that, and you usually are the one that heals us.
If I have to stitch one of you up, I'm not technically lying.
Well,
Fair point.
back to more pressing matters.
Yeah.
We have a box of unfortunate goods in our plate. We need to get rid of it.
No, we need to deliver it and see what's going on. We could also go talk to Devil, before the day's out, to see exactly what the heck's going on. Why do we have a different mission than what he asked us to go look at in the first place?
When a crime boss tells you to do something, you don't question it, you do it.
Then we should deliver the package tomorrow.
We should deliver the package right now.
I'm getting a lot of mixed
Very
messages.
specific. Very specific. It said, in 2 days, which yesterday, last night was the night at the bar, and the mixed message, and then today was the fireball. So tomorrow is when the drop is supposed to happen.
Is it? Do you have 2 days to complete it?
So in 2 days, we were supposed to drop the package.
This purple person's not going to be just standing there 24 hours a day waiting for us to show up. There's a time for this.
You don't know that.
Might be.
Well,
Then go talk to Devil. I don't care.
This is all very confusing. So probably talking to Devil would be best, just to make sure that that we're clearing this up, and that it isn't like an underling acting, trying to specifically muddy the waters. And really, he's more of a crime hobbyist than a crime boss. If we, maybe a crime aficionado. Anyway.
What if the guy lied, and that's one of the factions that Devil was telling us about?
I was about to say that. And that's why you're the smart one, Annie.
That's right. I make all the plans.
Do we take it with us or do we leave it here?
I don't know. Let's stash it somewhere.
I
I think
mean,
we stash it.
I'm fine with stashing it as well, because I don't think bringing it into the lion's den is going to be a good idea.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And, it would look awkward showing up in a bar and talking with, a member of the Zhentarim with a big box full of something. Someone who would probably, hassle us at some point.
Do we have any type of protection wall that we could put on it, or any place safe that we can?
This is mind reading magic. They'll have ways to track this stuff as well. I'm worried.
Well, part of me wants to stow it and not bring it in, and the other part of me doesn't want to leave it alone.
Well, if the job was given to us and we were told we could pick it up at any time, it would be expected that we would pick it up at any time and have a place to store it until the delivery. So leaving it here wouldn't actually be going against anything.
Alternatively, I can hold it and keep it with me while you guys go talk to him.
Yes.
Y'all.
If anyone comes for it, Rocky smash.
What? Are we thinking too much on this?
What are you doing?
This is planning process in a game of Dungeons and
Reality has shifted underneath our feet. Very disorienting.
You don't get this to us!
I want to go and drop the package. They want to go and talk to Devil. We're trying to decide whether we're going to take the package with us or we don't.
No, I mean, I understand. I was listening, but just do
And
something.
frankly, we're all not very smart.
I know. But the problem is,
Speak for
that's not
yourself.
the problem. The problem is that your characters are not very smart, but you all are very smart people, quite clearly. And so smart people role-playing not so smart people trying to...
Okay,
Okay, look, Rocky and I can guard the package. You guys got to talk to Devil really quickly, okay? Before they
Well,
go. See, Annie makes the plans.
And if we have
would be
to, we
expected
drink the
that we have
potion and we know if anyone's about to attack us.
Works for me.
I like that plan. I don't want to read anyone's mind. They think we're...
Team break.
okay, so
I was the only one to do that.
Yes,
So
yes, she
that's-
was.
Sorry, I missed.
all right. So
All right.
Rocky and Ani are guarding the package.
Great.
Rowan, T and I are going to Dabble.
Great.
Yeah.
The last
to be
time
clear, I figured we would like accompany you guys there, but stay outside or something.
Yeah, that was my assumption. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you all head over to Elixir. It's a little after high sun, and you head over to the yawning portal, and you get there, and there are always people in the yawning portal, like always. But it's a little early in the day for it to be too super busy. And you sort of ask around, and Davil, nobody's seen Davil yet today. If he comes in, he usually comes in a little bit later in the evening. So you all can sort of hang out, or anything else that we want to do in that interim. I just shudder to ask.
How close is the wherever that this is supposed to be delivered?
The Godcatcher statue? That's an excellent question. So let's see. So the Godcatcher is sort of almost like right in the smack middle of the city. It's just north of the market area, and you all are at the yawning portal, which is down sort of at the north end, southern end of the castle ward, north end of the dock ward. So we take our handy dandy little map and we find out that it is about it's about a 25-minute walk. So about the same distance actually that you from as Blackstaff Tower to the Fighting Spirit, about the same distance.
Okay. Because I almost just want to walk and just see if anybody's there. See if we can just do the drop now. But you guys were concerned as to whether it was pushing 80 people.
Would we pass it on the way?
You could, sure. You could go that way, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, just to see if perhaps we can just... This hole is pulling a hole in my hole. Like,
Okay.
I want to get rid of it.
The what?
Yeah, the hole is burning a hole in my hole.
Well, how about we just drop it, and it's a dead drop. It'll probably be there for a while. We can always just come back and get it if we need to.
No, everything has an order. If it's tomorrow, it has to be tomorrow. What is not going through your head? I know it's because of the pots and pans, isn't it?
Do you not know what it? No. Dead drops. The whole point is that the timing doesn't need to be right. Like you throw it there, and at some point in the future, somebody else will come by and get it, and that way you remain anonymous from one another.
Well, now, to be very clear, do you remember what the instructions were, Annie, specifically?
I mean, I just have shorthand, Godcatcher, purple cloak.
Yeah, what was that about the purple cloak? Do you remember that?
That it was supposed to be delivered to a purple cloaked person, I think. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
So Rowan, it has to be someone in a purple cloak. It actually goes to, even though they called it a drop, it's a purple cloak person. That's what it has to be. It has to be the purple cloak.
Is there
I
any
apologize.
other information that she's perhaps missing, like a time or a date outside of one day?
2 days, technically.
In the evening, she heard at night in 2 days' time.
Okay, so the drop is tomorrow night or tonight?
Yes, tomorrow night.
Right. So plan is walk by Godcatcher on the way to the yawning portal, yes, and see if we see anybody on the way.
Not if she's already explained it to us that it's tomorrow night. That's the drop. That's not going to be any.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's been explaining it the whole time.
You can certainly walk by,
very-
and there's not a person with a purple cloak there. Yeah,
She's been yelling it very well. But...
Huh? I haven't.
Okay, then I guess we're at the yawning portal. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So you're there for a little while, just sort of getting the gossip, whatever. Eventually, Davil does come in. You all verify with him. He looks super confused why you're having questions about this, what he seems to think should be a pretty straightforward task. You go pick it up tomorrow night. You drop it off. He doesn't know why you missed the drop yesterday in the first place, but it's all right. He arranged it with the contact to try and pick up the drop again tomorrow. But you go to the Godcatcher, you find the woman in the purple cloak, you give her the package.
So do you not have people getting decapitated?
He sort of looks confused and he says, well, that got taken care of a while ago.
What?
Yeah,
What do you mean
we
it got
took
taken
care
of
of
a while
it
ago?
yesterday.
He's confused.
We are too.
You're confused. We're confused.
He says, look, all you need to know is to what? How? You've just totally flummoxed him.
Okay. Well, I guess we're happy to see this through to the end. But
Can we talk order of operations here?
I feel like we're +1 favor here, and we're doing 2 favors, and we really only agreed to 1. So we're gonna have to keep that in mind in the future.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that was like that part of the deal seems to still be like what you remember, right? Like you guys aren't really going to join, but you're going to have some sort of an alliance, and this was just sort of a test of faith and good, an in good faith sort of assignment. So all of that seems to be exactly what you discussed.
So
and he feels a little bit more on solid footing now that you all are like talking about the same conversation again. So he feels a little more like secure in his worldview.
So, just out of curiosity, who took care of the assassin?
He says, well, that's for my organization to know, isn't it?
I fought an invisible guy, so it's probably dealt with.
Yeah.
It's probably fine.
Totally fine. Right then.
Question about a recent fireball at our front door.
He looks actually a little surprised about that. He says, that was you. That was your front door.
Yes, it was, and we were questioned about it.
Oh, what was that?
We were
Cut out there a little bit.
We were questioned about it by the guard. We knew nothing about it. We're wondering if you have any ears to the ground about where that may have come from.
He says where it came from? No, but I will. I'll tell you right now that if you all get any information about it, I'll pay you. I'll pay you handsomely to pass on word to me.
You were there. What do you want to know?
He says, well, who did it?
Huh. Well, that's a question.
Another invisible man.
Yeah. A cloaked figure running down an alley again.
He says, well, that's not enough to get paid for, but you keep me posted if you hear anything.
Do I believe that he was surprised?
Yes.
Okay.
Were any of your people the victims there?
He says, information for information.
Well, I guess we have some information about this drop. Is there anything else we need to know about it?
No. He says, no, just get it to her, and don't miss the drop again.
Her. Thank you for that part. So, purple cloaked lady. That's not Syl.
It isn't me. All right. Then I think we're done here. And we leave?
And
Great.
maybe we can just fast forward to the next day.
I think so. I think so. So is there anything else? Okay, so the following night, yes, we're gonna do a little montaging, a little hand waving, a little RPG fun and magic. So the next thing that I know you all will be taking care of, good Lord, gods above, hope you'll be taken care of, is doing this drop off the following evening. Yes. Is there anything in terms of sort of other investigation or anything else that you want to do regarding the explosion before tomorrow night?
Do I comprehend when I was talking to the lady outside who said that she thought that the person who did it looked like a puppet with no strings? Does that ring any bells to me? Yeah,
that's a good question. Why don't you, and let's say, I think that it's reasonable that you would sort of share that info with the team, yes?
Yes.
So why doesn't everybody roll for me intelligence, water, Davian knowledge, or whatever I called it?
Ooh.
Let's start with Rowan.
13.
Okay, Annie.
7.
Rocky.
Nat 20 for 21.
Woo! All right. Syl.
21 as well.
Okay, and
not natural.
Okay, and Theron.
12.
Okay, Rocky and Syl, as you two sort of think about it and like put bits and pieces of descriptions together, the only thing that kind of rings a bell that sort of maybe sounds like this is there are these creations that you have seen coming from the House of Inspired Hands. You both remember one day going to watch the Day of Wonders parade, which is a big celebration where the Temple of Gond sort of parades about their gadgets and their creations and their inventions. And you think that you have probably seen things like this before, maybe not exactly, but like you've seen like little automatons be created by the priests at the Temple of Gond, the House of Inspired Hands.
What you're saying is Dodie put a bomb at my door.
Is who?
Toady? Okay, never mind.
Dodie.
Is that a Critical Role thing?
Yeah, it is. It's okay.
I should watch that.
You probably should.
I've heard it's good.
The Mannequin, season 1, episode 1 of the new Doctor Who series.
I also haven't seen that yet. Gotta get on it.
Okay.
So yeah, it sounds like maybe something that came from the Temple of Gond.
Temple of Gond?
Mm-hmm. It's called the House of Inspired Hands here in Waterdeep, but yeah.
Gond.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would share that with everybody.
Yep.
Rocky, I would assume.
Well, that's a really interesting lead. We should go check that out after we're finished with this drop business.
Yeah.
Should we just watch? Should we should maybe watch to make sure it goes down. We're not handing it to her, right? We put it down, we walk away, but knowing she'll take it. Is that
Give
how
it to the person in the purple cloak.
Yeah,
You just had this mantra.
So it's not a dead
drop anything else for 36 hours, but give it to the woman in the purple cloak.
So it's not a dead drop. The wedding.
I feel like Annie's got this under control, and that we're just there as moral support at this.
Thank you, Rowan. Yes.
Say it again. Say it again, Annie.
Give it to the woman in the purple cloak.
She's been speaking in her sleep. When I snuck into her room last night to steal a chess piece to put in Syl's room, I heard her talking.
You did it too? Oh. Where is it? Where is it? Give it to me.
It's a
Give it.
conspiracy.
Give it.
I'm broken. Okay. Cool. So the next thing that we're doing then is this drop off. Yes.
Yes.
It's phenomenal. So that night, good lord, Abby
has the box.
We're breaking the DM.
She's gonna give it to the man in the green cloak, and I'm just gonna like throw myself out the window. It's fine. All right.
Yeah, she's colorblind. No, I'm just kidding.
Now wait a minute. We can't take the trash fire. That belongs to another group already.
Oh, that's right. I'm so sorry.
All right. So you all head a little after dusk. You all head to the Godcatcher statue, which again is one of the many walking statues of Waterdeep. Now, I think these things are super cool, and I know I described them last week. I'm going to do it again because I think they're super neat. So there are these statues all throughout Waterdeep. And in centuries ago, like way in the past, before the spell plague, really, these statues sort of existed on the astral plane and could be called into the city to defend the city in times of dire need. And then the spell plague went and messed everything up with magic, and so now they're sort of here permanently on the material plane. But they all sort of came in at once. And most of the ones that are here now have sort of been frozen into various positions, interesting poses and things like that. And the Godcatcher is so called because the Godcatcher has one leg sunk up to about, I think, the thigh into the street just north of the market. The other leg, he's on his knee. He's got one hand down, bracing himself against the ground. And the other hand is pointing up and reaching for a stone sphere, an enormous, huge stone sphere that is hovering several feet above his outstretched hand by presumably magic. And so that's why it's called the Godcatcher, because he is reaching to catch this spherical representation of a god. Don't know what god that's supposed to be, but so that's where you all head. And you sort of get there and you don't notice anybody at first, but let me have everybody make wisdom perception. Everybody who's there going, make wisdom perception checks, please.
I would assume we're all going.
That was my assumption, but I have stopped assuming much of anything with you all.
Wise.
Let's start with Theron this time.
17.
Okay, and Syl?
12.
Rocky?
Natural 1 for a 5.
Was it a purple cloak and a... Was it a green? Annie?
11.
Okay, and Rowan?
18.
Okay, so Theron and Rowan, You two, like, you all sort of watch for quite a while, and like there's nobody in a purple cloak that's coming anywhere near the Godcatcher statue. But then you both sort of notice that you've seen a hire coach, this one particular hire coach, sort of come in, circle the Godcatcher, and then head back down towards the market. But you notice now that like this same hire coach keeps coming around. And so you watch it as it comes by this next time, which is probably like the third time that you all have like consciously noticed it. So who knows how many more times before that it came. And you just see in the back of the hire coach, the curtains on the windows are pulled just enough for you to spot a flash of purple back there. And as it makes a full circuit, and as it gets around to the statue's hand that's on the ground, it usually pauses for about half a minute or so and then drives off again. And that's about where it is right now.
I will try to surreptitiously get Annie's attention and point it out to her without like making it clear that like letting her just know
Sure.
that and spot it so that she can get apprised of the situation. And, you totally got this. I would like to give her inspiration.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Annie is just taken off. But are you trying in any sort of way to be subtle or stealthy?
Well, I don't want it to leave again, I think. So she's like trying to like hurry and get it.
Great. So you get up there, and you do, as you get a little bit closer, you also notice the purple cloak. And as you get closer, you see that it's a hooded cloak, and there is what looks to be the figure, a feminine sort of human figure sitting in the back of this cloak. You don't really get a good look at her face. You sort of get a couple of glimpses, but not a solid look. She sort of keeps her face in shadow as you approach, but it becomes pretty clear pretty quickly that she has definitely noticed you approaching.
The bull into the china shop.
Yeah.
It's all gonna be fine, guys. It's okay.
Totally.
Fine. It was.
Okay. So
let me have the other four of you. Actually, you can all make me wisdom perception checks. Annie, make yours with disadvantage, since you're otherwise engaged. Rocky.
21 this time.
Sil.
19.
Great. Rowan.
14.
Theron.
No, they're 17.
Okay, and Annie.
5. Really focus on that purple cloak.
Yep, definitely. Okay, so Rocky, actually, yours was a 21?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So Rocky,
Correct.
you're the only one who notices, but it really looks like this woman in the purple cloak is sitting perfectly calm, totally still, like not at all bothered by this rapidly approaching half-orc. But you notice that she just has ever so slightly slid her hand over to the left and grabbed a hand crossbow and is sort of just has it in her lap, but is, ready with it.
Okay. I'm gonna really quickly just say to everyone else, like, she has a weapon. I've noticed it. I've called it out. I'm not like crying out across the crowd to Annie or anything.
She's got
You're not doing an Annie, are you?
Yeah. I'm warning the other 3 that I'm assuming are standing nearby.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I'll probably slowly start to move that way in case something's about to go wrong.
Sure.
I'm definitely keeping my eyes glued to it.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get to a higher vantage point just to kind of keep an eye on the situation.
Yeah, there's probably, not probably like a story up, but you could get a little bit elevated so that you can see sort of a little bit more into the coach. Yeah, definitely, like up on a barrel or something, on a crate on the side of the road. You are near the market district after all.
Okay, I just want to give her some ranged cover in case. I fully assume that anyone who's going to be doing something dangerous like this would have a weapon.
Sure.
And Annie poses an intimidating figure.
Definitely. All right, so Annie, so you get up to the hire coach.
Devil sent us, and I like put out the box. This is for you, right?
So you see, you can sort of just see. You never really catch a sight of her eyes, but the moonlight sort of just shines in so that you can see like the lower half of her face, and she just sort of gives you a lopsided grin, and she nods, and she takes. Do you let her take the coffer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great. So she takes the coffer and she sort of tosses you a black velvet pouch that, when you catch, very clearly has some coin in it.
Overall. Okay, that was it.
And then she, you at this point also see the crossbow because you watch her sort of uncock it and then use it to tap on the roof of the hire coach, and the driver starts the horses and the hire coach begins to drive away.
I just say, "That's boys," and then I tuck the pouch in.
And she, just as they're driving off, she sort of says, in a very soft voice that only you can hear, Annie, she says, "The tip's for you, by the way."
Yeah. Thank you.
Annie's rich.
I'm gonna open up the pouch. How much? Is that gonna take time to count or anything?
No, it's not. There aren't very many coins in there. In fact, there are only 15, but they're all made of platinum.
Yes! Yeah! Oh. Annie's really excited.
So just out of curiosity, with the coach, and while all this is going down, can I study the coach and see if I can have any clues or idea as to who it might belong to, or what subsect of the population belong to? It seems very noble-ish.
So it's definitely one of the hire coaches that sort of anyone with enough coin could hire to take them anywhere in the city. What I will let you do is, I'll let you make a check to see if you sort of recognize maybe what ward the coach is sort of home based in is from, because I feel the wards are all very proud of their own identities. So I feel like the coaches might have some indication of where they start and end their shifts.
It's not a personal coach, though. It's a...
Oh, no, it's a public... Yeah, it's like a taxi, essentially.
Well, I will get a 22 on Waterhaven.
Oh, okay. So you're certain that this coach is home-based in the C Ward.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I kind of want to follow it. See where it goes.
I feel it probably wouldn't be prudent.
Whatever do you mean?
I think we should just let it go.
If we thought ahead, we should have had Roadkill sneak onto it and report back.
That would have been a really good idea.
Yes,
We should have had it sooner.
I don't think he's gonna be able to catch up.
Annie, you did so great.
Yeah, oh man, I did really good.
You did.
Really good.
You kept your cool under pressure. You made the exchange. I'm sure you made a really good impression.
Yeah, that I did. Maybe we should get back to the fighting spirits before we talk about anything else. But it was great. That was great.
Did we have to report to Davil? Okay, then yeah, I guess let's let home.
You assume that he'll find out if it didn't get done, so...
Right.
Yeah, he knew when we missed the drop, so...
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Another successful job.
Hey!
We're on a roll!
Sort of.
About 1,000.
Positive spin. Good attitude.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, awesome. So you all head back to the Fighting Spirit. Now, what is next on your to-do list of various intrigue and investigations?
I definitely want to go check out the Temple of Gond.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything that I can find.
Sure. Feels like sort of your best lead at this point.
I mean, that's pretty much all we have.
Sure. All right. So the next day, I think you all can sort of regroup fairly early on. And are you all going to go to the House of Inspired Hands?
I would.
I will.
I suppose the better question is anyone not going. So
We're attached at the hip.
yes,
No
of
more
course.
party.
Arms linked, wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Okay, so the House of Inspired Hands is sort of all the way to the west, almost right near the West Gate in the Sea Ward, so sort of directly west from Trollskull Alley. And you all head over in the morning, and it's the temple is hard to miss. It looks like a cross between temple and workshop. Very prominently displayed, of course, is the symbol of Gond, which is a toothed cog with 4 spokes. And you can see as you approach, you can see sort of all the theme of it is like invention and creativity, right? And there are all these sort of, the architecture is, let's say, distinctive from most of the rest of the Sea Ward. And why don't you all, I know, one more time, make me wisdom perception checks. Annie.
It's a 7.
Syl.
19.
Theron.
5.
Great. Rocky.
12.
And Rowan.
8.
Okay, so Syl, you're the only one who happens to notice that standing on the top of the temple, right on the rooftop, is the silhouette of, it's far away, but some sort of humanoid shape. And it sort of extends an arm, and it releases this, what looks like a tiny little sparrow at first, but it sort of catches the sunlight, the early morning sunlight, and glints off. And you realize that the sparrow must be made of metal of some sort. And the bird sort of does a few loops in the air and then starts to veer right toward you all. And I'm going to need all of you to roll initiative.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Oh, crap. Wait, do I get advantage since I saw
I'm
it?
so excited.
No, you'll just get to act.
Crap.
Good try.
All right, so Theron.
19.
Okay. Syl.
11.
Rowan.
15.
Annie.
8.
I almost wrote 8, and I was like, well, that's not your name or helpful. Just wrote 8 next to the number 8. Cool. Good job. Rocky.
12.
12. Okay. All right. So, Syl, if you would like to use your turn to cry out about the bird, I will let everyone else act, but that will be your action to get their attention and put them up there, or you can be the one who acts on this surprise round.
I won't be selfish. I will point it out for the safety of others.
All right. So you all notice this little metal sparrow loop-de-looping and heading straight for you. Theron, you are up.
I have no idea what this little bird's intentions are.
Yeah, it's coming at you really fast, but like beside from that, you don't know.
I'm gonna reflexively just armor up.
Yeah, totally. Yep. So Theron sort of casts really quickly, and a brief sort of shimmer engulfs them, and then disappears because it is invisible generally. All right, excellent. Rowan.
Rowan will freak out a little bit, kind of go, ah! And then and fiery light will shine down from the sky on top of the sparrow, and I will cast Sacred Flame.
Yep. All right. Dexterity saving throw. Let's see. That is a 17 to save.
Oh yeah. Oh, that.
All right. So, and it doesn't. It's not even that it necessarily dodged. It's more just sort of like you didn't quite realize how fast it was moving. And didn't lead it quite well enough.
Totally.
Yeah. Rocky.
How far up is it?
At this point, it's probably about 60 feet from you all.
Okay. Well, that's pretty far. I can only karate chop so far away. So I'm going to actually kind of jump my way in front of whoever's closest to me, probably Syl.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. Or I guess actually I'll delay my turn to see if it gets closer is what I'll technically do.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Great. All right. And here comes the bird. So we're going to say Syl is 1, Theron is 2, Rowan is 3, Rocky is 4, and Annie is 5. Rolling a d6. I rolled a 6. Really good.
It attacks you.
It attacks me. No, it goes straight. It goes straight for Annie, just barreling straight towards her. That is I don't actually know if that hits you. It's a 16 to hit you, Annie.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, so it just flies straight into you. It's not big, but like it's metallic and it's sharp and it kind of hurts. And it slams into you with surprising force and does 3 piercing damage to you, and just shatters into a million pieces as it impacts upon your body.
Well, that was short.
Ah! Oh! Oh! Just look at like the silhouette. What did you do that for?
Okay, you know what? I usually hate jokes like that, but that is surprisingly fulfilling to be on the giving side of that joke. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wasn't what we do.
I'm
would...
gonna look up at the thing that threw it at us and see if another one's coming.
You see it sort of look like it like descends through a hatch or something and back into the temple.
I guess I would have just looked up and gone, "What the bleep?"
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It said it goes into a hatch into the
Yeah,
temple.
it looks like it. Like you don't necessarily see the hatch, but it looks like it's gone back down into the temple. Yeah.
Oh, it's on now. Yeah, like Annie goes in. She charges in.
Yes, Annie charges in.
I'm close at her heels.
Really good.
I'll heal Annie real quick while she's charging in.
Okay, great.
I will heal you all the way up the damage that you took, Annie.
Fantastic.
Yay!
Yay.
Are we still in initiative order?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Then go in after.
Great. So we're running in. Rowan is healing while you run, and you head in. And the Temple of Gond is a very busy place during the day, and so you come in, and there are priests buzzing about. There are worshippers of Gond who are there, sort of doing their devotions. But then also, it's almost like a museum here in the main hall of the various inventions that the devotees of Gond have sort of come up with and created. There are about 24 marble pedestals lining the walls of this enormous entry chamber, and each one has some sort of invention or miniature model, sometimes if the invention itself was too big. And as you sort of pass some of them, like, I don't know how mad you are, Annie. I don't know if they would catch your attention and slow you down, or if you're just sort of barreling through the crowds. Rowan
I'm
almost certainly is distracted, but...
Annie's barreling through.
Okay, great. How about the rest of you?
I'm keeping an eye on Ani.
Yeah, I'm pretty much right on her heels, I figure.
All right. So the three of you are barreling through. Rowan is barreling at a somewhat slower pace.
Crazy distracted also.
Yeah.
I'm following.
Totally. All right. So you sort of get to the far end of the entry hall, and by then you've attracted a bit of notice, let's say. And there are a couple of priests sort of standing, not standing guard, but like just standing as greeters into one of the little chapels that you're headed straight for. And they both sort of see you coming, and they sort of move together in front of the doorway and like put their hands out to try and like slow you down.
I think Annie says, if you're not the one that fired the bird at us, out of the way, and like she's gonna try to shove past.
All right. I guess make a strength athletics check.
That's a 19, and I know I got a +5, so
20.
Yep. And they'll have advantage because there's two of them, but even so, they're not going to get a 24. Nope. Okay, so you just shove past them and through the room, and they sort of cry out and begin to sort of sound the alarm a little bit because they're not really sure what is happening at this point. But a big old half-orc just barreled in screaming about birds, and that can't happen. Where are you headed, Annie? Or where are you trying to head, I suppose?
Well, I guess I'm trying to head to maybe where, since they went down into the temple, I'm trying to figure out like inside maybe where they were coming down at.
Yeah, so the temple's pretty tall, and the inside where you came in the entrance hall is sort of like, there are all kinds of possible passages. There are a few staircases that lead further up into the temple. There are a couple of staircases heading down. There are chapels all over the place. There's clearly like a main sanctuary that you could head to. It's a big temple.
The big temple.
She's also just like screaming out, "Where are you? Where are you?"
It's a little like Dumbledore in Goblet of Fire movie. Yeah. Maybe she like yells out like, "Where are you? Where are you? Where'd you find that bed from? Where are you?
All right.
That really hurts." Like she's picking out metal shards from her chest.
Yeah,
like that was
definitely.
really stupid.
It really hurt, Charlie.
Yeah, there it is.
Charlie.
So eventually, sort of, nobody wants to get too close to you, but eventually, you all see a dragonborn dressed in vestments of Gond, sort of approaching you all, rather determinedly looking. And she comes up to you all, and she says, "Now, I understand there's been a bit of trouble, and wait. Hold on. I understand there has been a bit of trouble. What can I... There it is. Can I please ask you to take a deep breath and explain to me what it is that you need?"
Somebody fired a metal bullet at us and it hit me and a metal shot inside my chest, and I need to find out who that is, and we need to kill them because that was rude.
I should move faster than you, Rowan.
Yeah.
If I may do a little translating.
Yeah.
So we're doing some investigating because our place of business was recently attacked, and then on our way in here, just to kind of check the place out, there was something up on the roof, and it threw a metal bird, and it hit her directly in the chest, and it caused her a lot of anxiety and consternation, and so
it made me angry.
Yes, and so she burst in here, and we're currently looking for the individual that attacked us unprovoked.
They deserve to die.
She says, "Well, yes, I can see how that would have been rather upsetting. Would you please describe the individual that you saw on the roof?"
Ooh, I saw him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but all I saw was a cloaked figure, right?
No, not cloaked. Just humanoid, short. You also maybe got the sense that light glinted off of the figure like it did the bird.
Okay.
And so you sort of begin to describe that, and the Dragonborn lady says, yes, I do think that I might have an idea about what has happened. She says, I will take you upstairs, and we can confront the one who I think might be involved. I would ask, however, that we keep outright violence out of the House of Inspired Hands, please.
I'll make no promises.
She says, well, in that case, I will ask that you remain below while I take your friends upstairs.
Annie, if you behave, I promise I will never try to braid your hair ever again.
Oh.
That's a really good deal.
Okay, then Annie takes some deep... tries to remember that meditation thing that that Rocky tried to teach her, and she didn't really do very well.
Do you want a swig of my flask? Potato juice in it.
I'll use prestidigitation to make the smell of lavender to kind of help calm her down.
Oh, I like that. Y'all, if that inn doesn't work out, you got
Ooze
to taste.
Put a little.
Okay, between the lavender smell and the potato juice that she sips from Syl's flask, I think she calms down just enough to be like, all right, we'll talk to the individual first. Like, winks to that.
So the Dragonborn woman sort of turns to a couple of the other acolytes in the area and just sort of like reassures them that everything is okay, and to just sort of get everyone, back to their devotions and whatever, because everyone is definitely staring at you all at the moment.
Do I notice anybody in the crowd? Did I didn't see the person on the roof. Only Theron did, right? Like, that attacked us.
No, I believe you did as well, didn't you? Somebody did.
Yes, because I started climbing the wall randomly.
Oh, at the fire.
I only started because I saw
fire.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Right.
You took off for the building. I saw you going and thought there was something up there and teleported.
Okay. I just didn't know. I wanted to look around to see if I saw anybody that looked familiar.
I mean, it's pretty crowded, and that was quite a ruckus, so probably not, at least at the moment.
Okay, ruckus.
Ruckus. So the Dragonborn leads you up some stairs, and she introduces herself and says, now again, I must extend my apologies if this is in fact a situation that I believe that it probably is. you have the apologies both of myself and, of course, of the House of Inspired Hands as a whole. My name is Valeta. I am a priest of Gond, and I welcome you, despite the inauspicious start, to the House of Inspired Hands, Temple of Gond, here in the city of Waterdeep. She leads you upstairs and she says, now, I believe that the trouble that you have had today might have been the cause of an individual that we have had some trouble with in the past. And you all have reached sort of an attic. You've gone up a little like wooden spirals. You've gone up some nice staircases and then clearly sort of left the public areas of the temple, up a wooden spiral staircase and to sort of an attic door. And Valeta reaches forward and tries to open the door and finds it locked. And she just sighs and she looks and she sort of knocks on the door firmly, but not pounding on it. And she says, Nim, what did we talk about changing the locks? And she doesn't hear a response from the inside at the moment, but she seems pretty steamed.
I can open that door for you if you'd like.
So could I.
As can I.
Me as well.
She looks... Me too, me three, me four. Not me. Oh my god, amazing. So she sort of looks as each of you says, I could do it. And when Annie says she could do it, she says, well, maybe not, dear. She says, now, normally I would not encourage such actions here in the House of Gond, but I think extreme circumstances might call for extreme measures. So, my dear, and she sort of gestures towards Syl, she says, if you don't mind.
Would guidance work here?
Yes, I think it would. It's going to be a dexterity thieves tool check, so yes.
Okay, I'll give her a little pat on the shoulder. You can do this. I know you can.
What does guidance do?
Gives you an additional D4 to your skill check, to your ability check.
Okay, and it's my dex plus proficiency?
I assume that you are proficient in thieves tools. I will double check right now. The question is, are you expert in them?
I don't know.
What did you take your expertise in? You took it in thieves tools. Yes. Okay. So it's going to be twice your proficiency. So +4 plus dexterity. So it's going to be at a +6.
All right. I mean, so it's going to be plus 18. 21.
Sorry, what was that?
21.
21. All right. So this is a tricky little lock, and it does take you, like, you haven't had a real challenge like this for a while, but you do manage to get the tumblers in place after quite a bit of effort, and you hear that hear and feel that so satisfying last click as the final tumbler drops into place, and you're able to open the door. And as you open the door, you see sort of this attic space, unfinished. It is extremely cluttered, with all sorts of like half-finished gadgets and tools and inventions, just sort of all over the place. And at the first glance, that's all you really see.
Okay.
Well, it looks really interesting in there. Can we?
Yeah, I'm like, it was open.
Can we go in? Is it safe?
I mean, can I check for traps?
You can give me a wisdom perception check.
This does seem like a place that would have traps.
Wait, but if I'm looking for traps, am I investigating or am I perceiving?
Well, are you looking at something specific or for something specific?
I'm looking for traps.
It's going to be a wisdom perception check.
That's going to be a 5.
If you're checking something, like if you're checking like a chest for a specific trap or a doorway, right? Or like a specific like tile in the floor, right? That's generally sort of what I use investigation for.
Then I guess I would, I would check the frame to be
okay. Yeah. So then I will then if you're specifically checking that, then yes, I will take investigation, intelligence investigation.
Okay. Reroll. Do you want me to take the one that I had when you said perception or reroll it?
I mean, you can reroll. It's fine.
If not, I remember what I rolled before.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
If I rolled a 5 before, so it would have been a 9. If
Great.
It was
So you don't notice anything.
Everything's
Fine.
Yep. All good.
Everything's perfectly fine. Was totally safe.
Good enough
If
for
you
me.
want, I can go ahead, Sil.
I'm already through the door.
Okay.
Yeah, and so is Valletta, actually. She doesn't seem to be particularly worried about it either. As you're checking, she's interested in what you're doing, which is why she doesn't, and she's actually not sure what you're doing at first, which is why she doesn't just immediately step through. But once she sees some of you begin to enter, she goes in, and she just, in a very commanding voice, sort of says, Nim, come out immediately. And this strange little creature comes out. And it is, when you see it, Sil, you were the one who talked to the woman, right? Who talked about the puppet without strings?
Yeah.
You know immediately that this is the type of creature that she was, well, creature might be a generous term, but this is what she was talking about. Maybe not the exact same one, but like, you understand immediately why she described it like that, because it does look like it's got joints and it can move about, but it is articulated in such a way that it is unmistakably not like organic, but still is clearly moving of its own free will, right?
Okay, I'm literally gonna draw my scimitar and go, it was you, wasn't it?
And Valletta says, please, we said no violence in the house of inspired hands. Put it away, please.
He has already done violence. He killed 11 innocent people.
She says, that's not possible. Nim has not left the grounds.
How do you know? How do you know his door has been locked?
She says, madam, you are in my house. You will put this away or we will throw you out immediately.
You have
Hey,
no right
Sil,
to protect him.
Sil, maybe, look, it's obvious that this individual wasn't born and was instead built. It could just have come from the same creator. Like a similar thing to this. We don't necessarily know that this was the individual who did it, just something like them.
Are there more of him? Of it?
She says, she turns to the creature that she has, this creation that she's called Nim a few times, and she begins sort of gesturing to it in some sort of sign language of some sort that none of you recognize. And the thing seems to respond in kind to her. And she looks surprised and she says, perhaps we may have some answers for you. I think we all need to take a breath.
Yeah.
Put our weapons away, and perhaps we can get some answers.
I'll
shoot
say-
it, but I'll keep my hand on it. But go ahead, Rocky.
I'll say, that sounds great, and I'll kind of walk up with hands out in front of me and kind of in between Sil's blade.
I love it.
And then just kind of slowly giving a wide berth, try to walk behind the creature and sort of looking at the rest of the party.
Yeah, I love it. So Valletta continues to sort of sign with this thing for a few moments, and she turns to them and she says, I had no idea just how naughty our Nim had been these last few 10 days. It seems that our nimble right here did, in fact, create a companion for himself.
Where is the companion?
She turns back to him and they have another little sign conversation, and she turns back and says,
Can I cast comprehend languages at some point during this exchange?
yes, you can.
To make sure that all of this is on the up and up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, comprehend languages only works on spoken languages.
Well, I tried
Or
it.
written languages, but not sign languages.
Fair enough. I do it anyway.
But I really like it, so take inspiration since I shot down your spell.
Yay!
So they go back and forth, and she turns back to you all, and she says, it seems that we do not know where the other Nimblewright is at the moment. Nim apparently, and she's just glaring at him the whole time that she's telling you all of this. She says, Nim created the other Nimblewright, but in confused terror about a month ago, because there was no guidance from Gond in the other's creation, the Nimblewright fled. Nim here has not seen it since.
Nim know where it might want to go.
There's another little exchange, and Valletta says, no, but apparently this clever little creature has thought up everything. And she sort of gestures like to go at Nim, and he sort of rushes over to one of the workspaces and picks up this odd little contraption. It looks like it's about, it's like this foot-long copper wand almost, with like this umbrella-like metallic protrusion at one end. And it's got all kinds of like gears and hooks and switches and levers. And it brings it back and hands it to Valletta. And Valletta says, I think it is the least that I can do for the trouble that Nim caused you today, and apparently 2 days ago as well, to give you this. The clever little thing has apparently crafted this in order to find things of his kind. This is a Nimblewright detector that you should be able to use to find any Nimblewrights in the vicinity. It is not coded specifically for the one that Nim created, so if there are others of his type in the area, it will notice them as well. But perhaps if you need to do a bit of searching to find who was responsible for this terrible accident at your place of business, this might help.
Are there any, if there are other Nimblewrights, is there any identifying marker on this one?
She says, well, they are all somewhat distinct. No two Nimblewrights are created the same. You see, the inspiration that God brings to us each as we are moved to create a Nimblewright is unique in its own way, and each priest's expression of the blessings of God. And she begins to go. Like, clearly now she's talking like...
I get that this is some magical thing, that this is wonderful, and this accident is so unfortunate that 11 people died because your naughty little robot decided he needed a friend. I just need the specific marker, or I'm just going to go on a killing spree of any Nimblewright that I find.
Sil.
I'll help.
I just want to know, why did this one attack us with a little metal bird?
Excellent question.
She says, well, it does not seem that Nim intended to attack you. His creations, because they are not Gond-inspired, do not always work as he would desire them. She says, I will say 2 things, and then I would appreciate it if you all would make your way out of the House of Gond. I sense that there is much anger in you, and I cannot trust the various devotees here and their safety while you are in this house, since some of you continue to threaten our safety here. So I will just say this, and she holds her hand up. She says, I understand you're angry, and of course, it is a terrible thing that happened. Understand this, Nim here is unique, perhaps unfortunately so. Most Nimblewrights can do little more than whatever tasks are set to them by their creators or their masters. It is unlikely that the Nimblewright that Nim created, and any other Nimblewright you may encounter, could have the free will to do something, terrible or otherwise, of its own volition. Well,
first off, I'm really sorry that this has been seeming like a misunderstanding, and that tensions are obviously running high. And I appreciate the information that you've been willing to give us. And I just want, so what you were saying is that Nim is exceptional, and most of them aren't really intelligent in the same way as a living person would be.
Generally, no. They have varying degrees to which they can be creative about executing their master's commands. But for the most part, in terms of initiative, they lack that for the most part.
Can they create more like Neem was able to? Specifically the one that Neem created. Like, is this going to be they just start making more and more and more and more?
She glares at him but says, no, I do not think so. Neem is extremely unique, and Neem will be stripped of all of his tools for some time to come. And you see this little creature just like shrink.
Hey, so one more question, and then I think that, I only have one more question, and everyone. Would it be okay if I came back and maybe visited him? It seems like he's just really lonely, and that's what drove him to kind of have this sort of trouble. So he just probably needs some company.
She says, I suppose if you come in the spirit of peace, creativity, and invention to interact, perhaps learn and teach from Nim here, then certainly you may.
Of course. I'm a cobbler. I make shoes.
She says, it is a different craft, but no less inspired in its way, I am sure.
Yeah, one last thing, though. You said they don't have the free will outside of its creator, but this one that Nim created, its master is Nim, isn't it not?
Well, it was, in a way, when Nim created it, but when it fled, for whatever reason, it is likely that it imprinted upon another individual, perhaps one of the first that it would have run into outside of these walls. There is no telling who might have established themselves as the master of the creature.
Great. That's just sounds great.
I'm going to send a message into Nim and see if it can respond.
It cannot.
Okay.
Yeah. She does say, look, I do understand, and I apologize on my behalf that I got heated as well. You must understand that the safety of my parishioners is of paramount importance to me. But, again, I understand that what happened was terrible, and I understand our responsibility in it. I will say this. If you are able to find the wayward Nimblewright, I would encourage you, in fact, to destroy it. Now, I would encourage you not to go around destroying creations of Gond willy-nilly, but should you be able to confirm that this is the one that Nim created, the rogue Nimblewright, if you will, and can bring me proof of its destruction, I will both compensate you monetarily and perhaps with some gifts of Gond.
And what would be an identifying feature so that I make sure I'm not hurting the wrong thing?
She says, well, let me find out if Nim left a creator's mark on it. And she does the little sign with it again. And she nods and beckons Nim over and has sort of Nim turn around. And on the back of Nim's head, there's just this tiny little insignia on the back of it, like a little stamp. And she says, Nim seems to believe that he has left this mark on the creation.
Okay. What does it look like?
It looks like sort of like the symbol of Gond, like the four-spoked gear, but like twisted, like literally it is like rotated, sort of like someone grabbed it and like twisted it in two directions, right? So it sort of spirals.
So it looks like really trippy.
Kind of, yeah. Especially since it's like kind of like a two-dimensional like stamp on the thing. So she nods and she sort of explains how the Nimblewright detector works, which is not interesting game mechanics. So I'll just tell you all that off the air. But you have the Nimblewright detector. She will pay you if you get it back. You have at least another sort of lead, I guess, in where to head next about the explosion. And so as you all presumably leave the House of Inspired Hands without hurting anybody, Mark?
I just do like a...
To Valletta or to Nim? Oh, to Nim.
To Nim.
All right.
I'm the last one to leave.
What's that?
I'm the last one to leave.
Okay. So as Syl sort of angrily leaves last, and you can still see Annie sort of like, she can't even see Nim anymore, but she's still doing the thing, sort of trying to... and as we fade out on that, we will finish up for this week. Thank you all so much for hanging out and watching. I've had a blast. I hope you all have too. Let's go around, get everybody, tell us who you are, who you played, where we can find you on social media, and your favorite moment from tonight. And we are a little later than I usually try and go, so we'll make the moments quick. Let's start tonight with Rowan.
Well, my name is Stephen Rowe, and I can be found on Twitter at WriteRowe. I would say that my favorite moment of the night was basically just everything Annie did in regards to the dead drop, and just in particular how she just ran up to the carriage and was like, "Here's your thing." I did great. It made me very, very happy.
Yes. Let's see. Let's go to Annie.
Yeah, my name's Allison. You can find me on Twitter at Letica05, and also with Red Hand Roleplay. We should have a new episode coming out this week. It's getting serious. And the favorite moment was the fact that Annie must have just been the whole time saying, "The woman with the purple cloak, give it to the woman with dreaming about purple cloak." The whole time. Oh, and finding out about the chess pieces. That was good.
Yes, definitely. Syl.
I am Alexandra Gaston. You can find me on Twitter at Crit Charisma. Favorite moment of the night? Any interaction with Roadkill. Like
Of course.
I love how you just like found a way to just put himself into the game.
I don't know what you mean.
With the
Theron.
headphones.
I know. Yeah, it's because I lost my other ones. Theron.
I'm Max, and I am OG variant roles from the beginning. It can be found on Twitter at allmaxd20, and I got to say VIP to the night to anything Annie was doing.
Yeah. And last but most certainly not least, Rocky.
Hey, I'm Jonathan Cox. You can find me on Twitter at Red Hand Roleplay, which is the actual play podcast we put out. Allison's on it, like she mentioned, and a few of the others in the stream. My favorite part of the night, I actually didn't get to talk about it. It didn't actually happen, but it was all in my head, and that was the lovely day that Syl and Rocky spent at the parade watching these.
Oh, yeah. I like it. Fantastic. And I am Eugenio Vargas, also known as your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, DM Jazzy Hands from the Actual Play podcast, The Last Refuge. We also will be dropping a new episode on Wednesday, as we do every Wednesday, so check us out. You can check out our website and get more info at dndlastrefuge.com. Huge thank you to Dan Gaston and Variant Roles for hosting us. We hope you all enjoyed. Come back on Thursday to watch the Autumn Crew at 8:30 p.m. as they run their version of these events that are somehow connected. And then, of course, we also have games on Friday and Saturday. Friday at 8:30 p.m., Saturday at 12:30 p.m., I think, or 12. It's in the afternoon. Just subscribe to the channel so you get a notification. Variant Roles has also recently started a Patreon, which you should all go check out so that we can do more of this incredible content. There's a button that you can click right below the video screen here, or you can go to patreon.com/variantroles to become a patron and get access to our Discord and Q&As and all kinds of other cool stuff. So if you can support us that way, if you can support us with a sub here on Twitch, or even just a subscription. Nope, not a subscription, a follow. That's what I meant. Anything that you can do, we appreciate. We love making this content, and we hope that you do too. Thanks very much. We will see you next Monday, same time, same place. But come back before then on Thursday to see the Autumn Crew, 8:30 p.m. Thursday, twitch.tv/variantroles. Thanks so much. Happy gaming. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.